My boss yelled at me for working on my lunch break. My first real adult job out of college, I worked for one of the local dioceses in the area. They have a newspaper, okay? I think it was a weekly newspaper. So we had a couple stories every week. It was super simple stuff, and I honestly enjoyed it. I grew up in Northern Kentucky. I liked working for my local community in a sense. The person I worked for was just it was a very interesting experience, I'll put it that way. Super paranoid woman. Originally brought me in for social media, and I don't know if it was because I was the only guy in the office or because or she thought that I was gonna like take over as a social media person. I don't know. I ended up leaving the job, but I got a lot of good stories from it. It was like a normal job. You get like a 30-minute lunch. Especially when I pack my lunch, I'll eat like it's prison. Don't want anyone touching my tray type of shit. So I eat in like 5 minutes like usual. I got super close with priests that worked there because they're the only coworkers that I could like talk and bullshit to because they're like, it was like talking to one of my buddies. Most of my friends at this job were the priests. And we had this courtyard. I was just kind of going out there to walk and enjoy the summertime instead of sitting in the building. And as I walk out there, one of my priest buddies pulls up. He's like, "Hey, Tom, what are you doing?" I'm like, I just got done eating my lunch. Still got like 15, 20 minutes. He's like, hop in. Going over to get this tile cut open. It was actually sick. He was going over to get an artifact, like a bone cut out of this tile from the church. It was badass. So I was like, oh, dude, that's definitely going to be a story for the newspaper in my head. So I'm like, I'm going to go get some pictures and videos of it for my boss while I'm on. Like, well, in my head, I'm like, man, Tom, you're a good employee for doing this shit. Go over with the priest, get a video of him cut the tile out or whatever, and you know, he drops me off, and I was like, right, normal lunchtime. So I come back into the office, and my boss is this little short woman. I come in, and I'm like talking to my other coworkers, like, man, check out this what Father so and so did. This is awesome, and they're like, oh, it's really cool. And we're talking about like putting it in the newspaper, or whatever. And my boss comes around the corner, and she's like, you can't leave campus without informing me. And I'm sitting there. I think she's joking at first. I'm like, it's funny. Here's the video. Here's the stuff for the story we're going to do on this. She's like, there will be no story on this in the newspaper. And I'm sitting there going, okay. In my head, like, oh, she's not joking. This is serious.
Is this real? Oh my God.
Oh, I left campus like I'm 23 years old. We're all adults here. Like, I'm not allowed to leave campus without consulting you. I gotta text you when I take a shit. Like, what the fuck? She gets like infuriated with me because I was like, okay, are you being serious right now? Because like, I did something for work on my lunchtime. Like, I don't have to tell you where I'm going on my lunch hour. Like, it wouldn't matter if I was going and doing a drug deal. It's none of your damn business where I go on my lunch hour. And she was like, you gotta let me know where you're at all times, like screaming at me. And my other coworkers are just uncomfortable, like they're just staring off, and I'm like, I have to report to you for lunch. Like, I'm not doing that. I straight up was like, I'm not telling you where I'm going to get lunch. It doesn't matter where I go to get lunch. I could go to Utopia and come back. Doesn't matter. That was one of the smaller situations I had at that office, man. That place was a nightmare. She was a nightmare of a person to work for. And nothing personal. She just was super paranoid and old. So anything new, she took as a threat. And it was wild, dude. Like, it was one of those really weird situations. She was tight with like the bishop, and the bishop's like the CEO of the Catholic Church is the best way to describe it for people who don't know. And working for the diocese, is like the federal government of the church. So I don't know if everyone was like just afraid of like getting sued or her getting people fired, but I really didn't care. Like when I left, I told him exactly why I quit. It's like, hey, this person's a nut job. I'm out of here. And I'm not gonna lie, I was really upset. I actually enjoyed that job and enjoyed all the people there, but it was one of those things. I'm like, I'm not sticking around and getting abused every day, man. I'm 20 something. I got a lot of life ahead of me. I'm just gonna find a different job or find a different career path. And it was funny, like working at the Catholic Church, I was a little nervous about having talks with Tom and stuff, but like I openly showed him all my videos. That was never an issue. Even some of the priests would see my videos and talk about how funny it was. One of the priest's favorite episodes was my Just a Tip episode. My buddy had sex with our friend's sister. That side of it was great. Like I said, it was just a weird thing because all my coworkers, who I don't know if she would be considered a superior to them or whatever, but they all knew that this chick was just nutty. And I got some fucking stories from working for her. I'm telling you, man, it's some of the most entertaining shit of my life. But that one was amazing because I really did think she was joking at first because I'm sitting there like, this is a great story. Got a video to put on the website. And they ended up they never even started social media. And I probably should have known going in because when I had the interview with them, like she was like kind of, you could tell she was being kind of fake friendly. It was like a weird vibe at first, and I should have read into that more. I should have trusted my instincts, but I was like, first job out of college, man, this would be fun. And I wanted to work for my local church. Like I've said on here before, I'm Catholic, and I'm definitely not your prototypical Catholic, but I feel like me and God, we're good. Me and Jesus, I know what I'm doing with my life. I got a good purpose. I feel like I'm pretty good to people. As far as like my faith goes, I'm good with that. And I'm actually really thankful. I had this old bishop who was like on his way out when I got hired. He said, just don't let working for the church affect your faith. And it's true. Like the church has a business side to it too. You can't take it personal. So I don't, that part didn't really affect my faith. But I would say to anyone out there, whether you're on the hiring side of things or the employment side of things, like me and my buddies have talked about this a lot. You have so many employers that the head, whoever's in charge, like the president or the hiring manager, they want to do social media or get into the video or digital world like so many companies are now. But the person you're actually working under doesn't always see things that way. Like our bishop wanted, the bishop or, the president, CEO, whatever you want to call him, he wanted to start social media. And this woman is this super paranoid lady who doesn't know anything about it. So they say, "Oh yeah, we'll start social media," and then they don't start social media because she's telling all the negatives of it and all this crazy just stuff that's not the reality of it. It's like, so you hired me to start social media, and now you don't want to do social media. Well, I'm not staying because this crazy woman's abusing me every day, and and now you don't even want to do social media. Like, I'm getting the fuck out of here. This is nut job shit. So, like I said, I got some great talks of time content coming from that job, man. That was something else. Who would have thought, right? Like working for a newspaper for the Catholic Church, you would have thought would have just been such a simple cookie cutter job. And the only reason I took it originally is because I was like, I'm not paying that much, but I'm still doing my TikTok stuff on the side, and I can just type my movie scripts at work. So that was the whole thought process in taking the job. It's like it'll be nice, light workload, and I'll be good. And then it ended up being like the worst work experience I ever had. So, to everyone out there who's on the young side of getting hired places, make sure you have a thorough conversation with whoever you're going to be working under, and make sure you have a clear understanding of the vision and purpose of your job and what the company's doing moving forward. Because I think that's really crappy for a lot of young people. They get put in those crappy situations. Because like if I would have known going in that they had like 4 people in the last 2 years in my position, I would have been like, okay, there's obviously a reason that nobody's staying at this job. Let me figure it out and like let me do some research for myself before I say yes to this position. But you got to live and learn. Those experiences happen everywhere to everybody. I'm more so just saying to all of you out there, just I know that it gets stressful at times and money gets tight and you need to get jobs, but just do your best to find a position that is at least going to treat you right at the very least. Whether it's a career builder or a future building thing for you or resume builder, whatever they call it, like that's all great, but at least make sure that people treat you right, because that messed me up for a while, man. I was like, damn, dude, like my own church hates me. They don't want me around. So, but like I said, man, that's a whole nother thing. Like working there, you just see how many people that can call themselves Catholic and they don't live the faith at all. So that's a whole nother thing. I always say it on here. Like I know that I'm far from perfect. I know I make a lot of mistakes, but one thing that I really do live by is I look at everybody the same. I treat everybody the same, and I don't care if you're the CEO of whatever or you're somebody like me, just living in Kentucky. Like I'm gonna treat everybody right. Try to treat everybody the same and try to be genuine and authentic. I think that to me, that's what makes people like attractive to be around. Like that's the people I want to hang out with. I feel like a genuine vibe from you, and you're very authentic, and you know who you are as a person. That's somebody that I want to be around. Other people who put that fake facade on and want to be all judgmental and shit. I just have no respect for that. I really do, and it's probably because I've been that person at times. Like especially when I was in college and stuff, being younger, it was high school too. So that's today's episode. Like I said, got a lot of stories to kick out here, so we're just gonna keep going. And so yeah, remember this day because I'm tired today. I didn't feel like good. So I did it. Yeah.
I was riding around town thinking to myself, is it gonna